This is the Hardball Gets AFL show. My name's Nick Rynne, joined by Xavier Ellis and Ryan Daniels. Gentlemen, what's going on?
Oh, big weekend. Had Coach Auskick, as you know.
Yes.
So, me and another guy, we coached
What's the Bombers?
Coolbenia Bombers.
Coolbenia
Good
Bombers.
Good club. So we had a gala day. First time the kids get to play against another team. So you play like a couple of games, little 20-minute games. First one, gone up against one team, done okay. Second game, we're playing against the Morley Bulldogs. And, sort of, you would say almost geographical rivals, but the kids have no idea about it.
No.
So anyway, I'm chatting to the other coach of Morley pre-game. Like,
Were you friendly?
Yeah, we're friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you want to ref that side? And I say, yeah.
Did you work out reffing? Was it half a game each or half end and end?
Mate, there's no organisation to this. You do whatever you want. So we ended up both just sort of one on one side, one on the other. And just whatever's closest, you just call it.
Conserve your steps.
Yeah. So anyway, we're having this casual chat. And then, like, we turned around because there's a bit of noise behind us. There's an all-in brawl.
Were you at that fight? Is it in the paper? The kids were fighting
maybe
or the
it made
parents?
the paper, I don't know.
No, kids or parents?
This is kids. This is my team.
No.
So the 5-year-olds from my team and the 5-year-olds from his team are in this scrap. There's an
Punching
all
on.
in. They're all on the ground.
Yeah, nice.
And we're like, what the hell just happened in the 30 seconds we were talking?
Yeah, wow.
So then we've like separated them. And then it's happened again. William, my kid, he's on the bottom. And there's 3 Bulldogs players on him. And there's this one kid that he's particularly like ticked off at.
How's it started?
I have no idea until it clicks. I see this kid. So William before footy was doing basketball, Aussie Hoopers.
Yeah.
And there was like 5 or 6 kids in there. You go down on a Friday and they're like, they sort of put him in age, right? Because there's multiple ages in this thing. But there's this one other kid, same age as him. And so for every drill, it was like William versus this kid.
Yeah, right.
And they hated each other. Every time there was a ball to contest, they'd be pulling each other's shirts, sling tackles to the ground. Like these kids, it was like, for some reason, it was like,
That's the arch rival that's going to follow him through school.
Yeah.
No more Batman references either after last week. You got shit canned for
now,
that.
hold on a minute. Guess who the kid is on the Morley Bulldogs who he's scrapping with? It's the same bloody kid.
Yeah, nice.
So they found each other. They've obviously seen each other and gone, you know, like Peter Griffin and the chicken? It's like that.
Yeah.
Like they've seen each other and gone, I f***ing hate this guy. Like, and they're at it again.
Who is it? What are the games occasionally where they play on each other, the rivals, and you just know they're going to fight at some stage?
Yeah, well, that's
they're just fighting. Get it out of your system.
That's Morley for
I asked my little nephew, my stepsister Nicole's boy, he's a big cricketer, and I said, what's your he loves taking wickets. I said, what's your favourite way of getting a wicket? You know, I was thinking in my head, I was like bowled or caught behind or whatever. He's
middle
like,
stump.
There's this girl from Jimboomba.
Oh.
And I just love taking a wicket. I was like, whoa, hang on. They said, they've been going each other for like 5 years.
The hate starts early, man.
Back to your 5-year-old football.
Yeah.
Nick, what about the smart-ass grin that he came in? We got the win, boys. We got the win. They're 5-year-olds. They are 5.
Don't you have a session at the start of the year? It's just about fun, a positive experience.
No, wait, to them I say that. When they're like, did we win? I'm like, I don't know. We don't really count the score. And they're like, yeah, we won. I'm like, well, maybe.
Oh, my God. And then he
gets William in the car on the way home. Maybe if you tried a bit harder. So.
But even the, and then I had to bloody give free kicks to kids who couldn't get a kick. I was like, mate, it's Auskick.
You've got to earn the footy.
Oh, my God.
This is a problem with our society. We just give too many free kicks.
Oh, I'm the absolute opposite to you.
Freeze
You're
everywhere.
just soft.
I think I am. I've gone soft.
You've gone soft.
I have gone soft.
This is a swerve for you.
Were they giving free kicks out in Lakes Entrance or wherever you were?
No.
You had to earn every kick, didn't you? Made it to the AFL.
Playing seniors at 6.
Hey?
Yes. So anyway, you've had a big week.
Yeah, I've had a big week.
Let's just start with 2 teams quickly.
Okay.
Essendon shit on you and so did Port Adelaide. So cop that.
Yeah.
And we'll get more in depth with that,
But
obviously.
also, so there's a rivalry we've had for quite a while. We've been building up on this pod. And we're not sure whether this was ever real or we've just willed this thing into existence.
I said it's real.
But it's now extended
It's
past
definitely.
the boundaries of the podcast. I think, Josh, if you could cue the audio.
I tell you what, I don't think Tom Morris and Ryan Daniels are taking each other's calls.
Is there a problem there?
Well, I just think there's such a rivalry between Ryan Daniels, who's the magnificent newsbreaker over there in Perth. But I just feel like he doesn't like it when other journalists tread on his toes. And by his toes, I mean Perth-related stories. Anything involving Fremantle or West Coast. And the latest one is Shea Bolton. So Ryan Daniels tweeted yesterday, Shea Bolton wants to move back to WA. Family personal issues at the core of this. In recent weeks, Bolton has made this clear, blah, 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 to West Coast and Freo. But this story was broken by Xander Maguire 2 months ago. I think he's a bit sensitive when other journos start.
So who do you think's more sensitive?
I think Ryan is incredibly sensitive.
This off.
We love Kano, and I love him even more.
Okay, firstly, you two are idiots. You've somehow manifested this to now going national. I don't know how that's happened. I don't know how you did it, but it took you about 2 years of building it up into something, and now suddenly you've created this thing. It's not real, but you two think it is.
Well, he was so quick.
If only he had as much aggression at the 5-year-old Oz kick as he does at this contest.
Secondly, magnificent. I heard that there. Thank you, Kane. And thirdly, look, this is why on none of my tweets or any story I do I ever put breaking news, brand new information.
Have you ever dropped an exclusive?
I don't think so. Maybe if you went right back, you could find one, but I don't.
Watch Tom Morris find the exclusive ones now and start tweeting them.
I typically don't do it.
Yeah, Tom's become a bit of a passive-aggressive retweeter with it. Every time Rayner, he jumps in on the end.
Well,
actually.
I've had a few people send me that.
Yeah.
So, I just want to clear it up. I wasn't saying that I'm the first person to mention Shea Bolton or the fact that there might be a chance that he wants to come back.
To be honest, we probably were on the podcast about 6 months ago.
Maybe.
Stamping.
No, the reason I tweeted was because it's my understanding, which was a bit different to Xander's story, and hats off to Xander, that was a good early get on that. But it was that it's only been a couple of weeks, and it was the first real approach, and it was Shea driving it, not Fremantle. Whereas I think in Xander's it was from Fremantle
the approach.
chasing, which I don't think is the case. So
you're saying he's wrong?
No, I'm not saying that. I was saying he has different sources to me.
Mate, I wouldn't be taking on the Maguire family.
Don't you start. I'm not taking on anyone else.
Tom Morris is one thing, but don't take on the Maguires,
I'm not taking on anyone.
So who would you rather? Xander or Tom? If you got to fight one.
I'm not fighting anyone. I'm not. I noticed they did put poor Mitch Cleary on the spot, though, on the same day.
Oh, yeah. Can we, Joshua, we might have that audio as well.
Okay. I want to play a hypothetical with you. If some information has hit Twitter, a big story has just lobbed, and you can only choose one Twitter account to go to between Tom Morris and Ryan Daniels, which way are you going?
I'm going to back my 7 colleague in and go with Footy Rhino in the West.
Oh,
here we go.
I haven't heard that.
There you go.
Mitch Cleary's got your back.
Of course he does. Me and Mitch are tight. And,
I like that.
We've got to be good teammates.
Yeah, we are. We're teammates. Because
that was on SEN too, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
So then Tom is SEN. So I thought the easy answer would have been just say Tom.
No. Me and Mitch are tight.
I like that.
Yeah. Plus, he's probably got more of a war with Tom. They're on against each other every night.
They are warring.
I'm over here just doing my own thing.
You did have a weird, an afternoon where you just dropped, you just spewing out information. What was going on there? Was it Wednesday? Friday? It just all came out.
Yeah, we've
just been backing it up and then
made
just
a few calls and just
rolled it out.
Because often when you have those conversations, there are multiple things in there, and you think, okay, well, what's the one thing I'm trying to find out? And then it's like, oh, but there was these 8 other little bits and pieces.
The Jack Graham part. We'll probably get to that. But
yeah,
I'd never heard that.
And you?
No, not once.
There's the West Coast.
Yeah, it's signed to West Coast virtually.
No, I think Tom did a passive-aggressive one of that.
He did.
But again, I purposely don't say breaking, Jack Graham's going to West Coast. It's just this is where it's at now.
Yeah. What's the score? If you had to give a 3/4 time score, the season's coming to an end.
There's no
Ryan v Tom, a footy scoreboard. What would the score be looking like?
Oh, I'd have to go back, but I reckon it's pretty it's going to come down to the last quarter.
Right, okay.
It's going to come down to the last quarter.
You guys are idiots.
Okay.
But I will say to Tom, the passive-aggressive retweets, it's starting to look a little
we all do that. No, we all do that.
Everybody
all do that.
Oh, yeah, I've done a few this year, actually.
The best one to do is when you have the story first
and bring it back.
And then let's say Geelong, right? For instance, it's like, I don't know, let's say Tom Stewart's going to be the captain or whatever. Yeah. And so you say it 6 weeks earlier. Then when Geelong announce it, you then
circle back,
retweet your own one and say, as reported.
I might just get in on this with some misinformation.
Can we all agree that journos are knobs?
I'll even go. It's a very competitive environment.
Look, if you've ever been to a media awards for anything, you're going to come to that conclusion pretty quickly.
My advice would be, if you're in this industry, news breaking is the thing you don't want to get into. It's very difficult. It's very stressful, and it's
a bit like Damo, who's clearly moved away from it a bit.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's what I want to be. I want to get me out.
At the moment, you're at war, but you've got to have a thick skin. It's good.
You got to do it so you get successful, and that's the one thing AI can't replace you with. Finding out information that's not on the internet.
So you're happy with yourselves? You've created a monster now.
Well done.
Well done.
Yeah, I could tell you how happy I was when I was listening to this on Friday morning.
My phone went bunter.
Mine too.
Absolutely bunter.
Mine too.
Anyway, both very good journalists, and we can keep playing along with it.
This is right. Maybe we should have a Hardball Guest Media Award every year.
Well, I better win that. I get to be a judge.
Me and Nick vote. We vote Tom Morris. Sucked in.
All right, have we got anything else, or should we do footy?
Oh, no, I do actually have something.
Well, while you get it, just quickly, Friday night footy, Rhino called the game.
Yep.
Did a great job. But every time we went down to Hamish Brayshaw on the boundary for an update on injury or something, Hammer would say, I just got a tweet from Tom Morris. The sub's been made every single time.
It's very good humour. I just wanted to quiz you on a couple of things, Mr. Xavier Ellis, because I've noticed for a long time there was two things about this. For a long time there, you were drifting away from doing the sporties and that sort of stuff, those dinners and those lunches where they make it. I've noticed an uptick. Have you noticed this?
I've seen
in recent weeks, he's been suddenly doing a lot more of this sort of stuff.
I think he might be in somebody else's wake on a few of these.
Well, something's...
Or maybe not.
Oh, really?
Maybe he's doing it himself. I don't know. JN Sports Entertainment is the account that's tweeted this.
Yes.
Who's that?
It's a character that I've done multiple things with.
A character?
It's like a sportsman's night.
What's his name?
It's a character.
Is that, can't remember his name. Mick? Something?
I'm not putting anyone in anything.
It's a character. It's just a character.
Just a fella.
So JN Sports Entertainment, it's Simo and Premiership stars.
Yep.
Adam Simpson, of course, Jeremy McGovern, Elliot Yeo, and Xavier Ellis.
It does say Eagles Premiership
So
stars.
I host them.
Right.
I'm the host.
Yeah.
Right.
So I navigate the questions and whatnot.
How many of these you do in a week?
No, I've done plenty. Okay. I've done plenty.
Okay.
So it's I just saw there was an open weekend there, and
Chance to make a little extra money.
and it was a Saturday night, and just a chance to work, mate.
How old's that photo?
Which one is it? Look at that. No, that'd be Triple M like last year or this year.
Oh, police off. Have a look at
it would
that.
be.
He's
That's a few
very
years
good.
before
Nick.
that. The lighting was good.
I reckon you were playing for Hawthorn when you took that photo.
No, that would be a professional snap, but yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, it's with Nick, and it's just a little job on the side, just to fill in some Saturdays.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
right.
Rash tops are going well.
How
though.
much?
He might be-
Rash tops
he might
are
be-
going
rash
well?
tops are
Hey,
going
hello.
pretty well.
How much for that gig?
Not much, mate.
If I said 500, higher. Oh, jeez.
No, we're not going to say anything.
Just
It's,
supplementing the Rashy income.
It's over $1,000.
no comment, mate. I got no comment. It's work for me, and I enjoy doing it.
No, that's good.
Yeah, it's good, mate.
work, I'm sure.
Unique insight.
Yeah.
All right, let's kick it off. What do you got, Zave?
Hey, let's go Port Adelaide to start straight off
Whoa.
the
And we're going to bullet them?
straight off the massive win. Rhino, how much? We've all got teams that we've shit canned. Like my blind spot is Brisbane. If they win the flag, I'm going to look like
You're
an
in
absolute
trouble.
goose.
Yeah.
Right, if Port win a flag, you're going to look like a goose.
Yeah, look, I don't think I ever put a bullet in them in terms of they can't make the finals, but I just don't believe in their finals
Didn't we
credentials.
Weren't we running into like the bottom 10 Ken and that sort of stuff?
Yeah,
at
we
one
did hear that.
at one stage.
Yeah, and look, he's beaten one of the out of form teams of the comp, the Sydney Swans. So does that really count as much?
Yeah. Sydney Swans, look at their record. What have they done recently? Hey, really quickly though, so they made light work of Richmond. Then they beat Carlton, who only kicked one goal after half time. That was a massive win. Then they've done a number on Sydney. But a player I want to shout out to, we always talk about which player's any good at Port other than the 3 or 4 that we all know about.
Yeah.
The Brownlow medalist, Ollie Wines, against Carlton, most disposals, against Richmond, 32 and 10 tackles, against Sydney, 31 and a goal.
What's changed there? Because he wasn't doing this in the first half of the
I think he's back
season.
getting some more open side ball. Like, not all, you look at Matt Rao and you're just like, oh my God, I wish this kid would just get some uncontested footy and have a chill out for a minute. I think Ollie Wines has started doing a little bit of that sort of stuff. They absolutely walloped Sydney, 69 inside 50s. That's your old fashioned dinner for 2 to 34.
Jesus
Doubled them up.
Christ.
Unbelievable. 22 marks inside 50. They got Melbourne to come.
Yep.
Tick.
Yep, Melbourne and cooked.
Adelaide. Cast.
Who knows?
And the Dockers last round.
That's
I mean,
a
they could
massive
win
game
out.
here.
They
That's
could
here?
win out.
They could. Yeah.
That's in Optus?
It's yeah.
That's here.
But there you go. That I just can't believe that. 4 or 5 weeks ago,
Oh, do you still believe him
Ken was getting
as
booed off the field.
Yeah.
as a premiership contender?
Mate,
Yep.
this year,
You
anybody.
still think?
I think they're all contenders.
Yeah, everybody's a contender this year. Can you
Yeah.
tell me who's going to win?
Look, I think that's probably the case.
Brisbane.
In a normal year, I still wouldn't believe in them, but this year, I've got no idea who's going to win.
You
the
can't
premiership.
possibly put a line through them.
No, you can't put a line through them.
And of course,
But if you're picking 3 teams to win it, are they one of the 3?
nah.
I'll ask you guys at the end who you would put in as your 3.
Okay.
We're really in line for like that's wicked premiere this year. Like could be someone and everybody's just
The
sort
Dogs.
of
All right,
for it.
Nicholas, you're about to get excited. The Brisbane Lions.
Oh, how good. 3 in a row.
Well, they're now the premiership favourites.
I'm talking about one man
Officially.
who's on
I know.
a 3 in a row streak
We're
now.
about to get there.
I was going to say, has Nick just tuned in to footy when he said 3 in a row? Haven't they won like 13 in a row?
no,
I was like,
mate,
what are you
it's
talking
more
about?
important than the big picture stuff.
So, yes, officially premiership favourites with the bookies now, which is
Wowee.
incredible. We never would have seen that coming.
It's a
Zave,
shadow
I think
brain
you
effect.
wrote them off basically around 7 or 8.
0% chance. Well, 2 and 5, I think it said 0%
Well,
chance.
they're the bookies now. I think they're a very good chance.
Yeah, I know, and I know some people that may have tickets from 2 and 5 starts.
Oh,
5 of them.
jeez, that's nice.
Hello.
So Cam Rayner, he's now had 6 games in a row with multiple goals.
Yeah?
14 goals in his last 6 games. That's remarkable. Will hit his career high in disposals easily. Like he'll go past it by like 40. And he's already kicked more goals this season than he's kicked in any other season.
Here we go.
Never before had he gone 20 plus and a goal on 3 occasions in a row. He's done that now.
2 goals.
But yeah, and he's done it with 2 goals each time, correct. He had, in his first 115 games, how many games do you reckon he had 20 plus? I know we sort of did this last week,
Do
but
we
in
like 20 plus?
115, how many did he have 20 plus?
36.
In 115 games, how many did he have 20 plus?
No, like 6.
It's 8. And he's but in his last
I'll be
17
over-indexed.
games, 6 times.
Yeah.
So he's almost matched it in his last.
Well,
he has
we-
actually
yeah.
clicked. It's clicked.
It's clear. We were
This
waiting
is
for
it.
one of him or Zach
No.
Bailey to pop, right? And he's popped.
No.
He did 8 centre bounces yesterday, just having a quick gaze. So he's playing a lot of forward,
Yeah.
66%
Yeah.
forward sort of stuff. I reckon he's probably a bit more dangerous than like a Charlie Cameron that at the moment forward.
Mate, he's on fire.
Yeah.
He is on fire.
This is what I thought when he got drafted. He's one of those guys where if he's running at someone who's trying to tackle him, it's no. Like the guy trying to tackle him is kind of like overthinking it in his head.
I know he
because
had the
got ways
injuries.
of
This
getting
is
through.
where we thought Cam Rayner would be 3 years ago.
I agree with that.
And he's now here. How much of it is injury, confidence, form, or just...
I think
It's 'cause I
form and
jumped
confidence most.
yeah, I think so
He,
too.
well, he wasn't a good player
No.
3 or 4 years ago.
No. If you go back and have a look at his numbers...
No, he
Yeah, I
wasn't.
know.
Like he was having
No influence.
less than 10 disposals in a lot of now.
It came down to when I started to doubt him.
Yeah, when you jumped off.
Word got
Yeah.
back, clearly. All right, we'll jump into Sydney and talking about that order. Like, where do you... Let's do this, a Sydney-centric one first. In terms of, like, your premiership, who's going to win the flag, where do you have Sydney in that order? Is it 3rd, 4th? Are they...
Look, I still have him as one of the 3 teams I think that will win it.
I mean, the interesting stat is that in 127 years of the VFL or AFL comp
I saw
existing,
this.
nobody's ever been beaten by 100 and won the flag in the same season.
That's
Nah.
nuts, isn't it?
Yeah,
What have they lost? 6 of the last 7 or something?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, all of a sudden 1 point losses to Freo and stuff at home are
Yeah.
going to make a difference because
Well, that was the beginning of
Yeah,
this,
Freo
all right?
broke 'em.
Because at that point we
There
thought,
was.
wow, well done, Freo. Like, this is a massive win. Sydney never lose. They never lose at home.
Yeah.
So they went back-to-back weeks where they lost to Freo by a point and
Yeah.
then St Kilda by 2.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden
Those
they're
heady
right in the
days
mark.
of
Yeah.
losing by 1 or 2
So
points.
we talked a lot about...
And then lost to Brisbane by 2 in there as well.
oh, that's tough.
That's 5 points covering
Yeah.
3 games.
And then this one was the
more than
real
2
blowout.
points.
But we talked a lot about earlier in the season their strength coming from all their goals from the midfield. Heaney and Warner and Goulden, like would they have like 40-something
Yeah.
goals between them? Like, that's dried up.
Well,
Like,
I think I said last week their forward line's now the weakest in the.
yeah, and they're not getting the
Yeah.
goals from the mids.
Yeah.
So that was always the concern, right? The strength can become the weakness because it's like, well, you're not getting the goals from the forwards. Papley's out,
Yeah.
so you lose a creator. Hayward's a form guy. So he
Yeah.
might kick 12 in 3 weeks, but then he might go 3 weeks
Yeah.
with 2 goals.
I'm not as big a Haywood man as what the free agency market.
I
might
do
have been.
like him,
He's a
but
decent piece.
But he's a form
Decent,
player.
yeah.
He's not. He's never going to give you 3 goals every week. Like,
I could. How do you go 71 to 0 down and be on top of the ladder?
yeah.
And did you
It's a
see their
very
first?
good
Did you see their first score?
What was
It was
it?
a Haywood set shot from like 45, and it got punched through by Port. So it was
Oh,
technically
God.
like it was a rush behind.
That was one of those ones where you're watching the other game, you're like, oh, I really want to watch this one. And then you see the score, and then eventually you're just like, oh, no, I'm not going to.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
gonna
going to
leave
watch
that
that.
alone.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no point switching
Why am I
over.
watching that? Unless I go for Port.
It's concerning.
Let's go to the Essendon Footy Club, Rhino.
Oh,
Let's say
Hello.
good morning, good afternoon, or good
Hello,
evening
Bombers
to
fans. Hey,
Bombers fans, Kev, everyone out there. The Bombers now, they're only 2 points out of the 8.
Yep.
However, unfortunately, they've got, who we just shit can Sydney,
Yep.
Second last round, and Brisbane last round, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So they've got first and second to finish,
Yeah.
and a Gold Coast Suns
Gold Coast in Melbourne
this week. So I thought they could
probably
win
win
that,
that.
but I think it's going to be too big a ask to make the finals still.
Yep.
But that was a brilliant win. That was not dominated. They were the better team on the day.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the Brian Draper 1-2 punch. They won the hit-outs.
Yeah.
They clearly won that.
Yeah.
And then you've got Parrish, Caldwell and Merritt all getting about 30 touches.
Yeah.
That's the three things they needed. And as you said this morning on radio, Rhino, the players with the spikes and then the falls, they spiked.
And that's why I'm going to swerve here, because I'm going to say, if you're an Essendon supporter, enjoy that. And it's nice to have that. And it's nice to have Stringer look like the best forward in the game for a quarter. And it's nice to have Sam Draper look like, hey, he's it. Finally, he's doing a Cam Rayner. And Kyle Langford doing the really good Kyle Langford stuff. Is he going to happen next week?
I don't know. But you've got to give him the flowers, mate.
We'll have it for 5 minutes.
Well,
but
just do that.
It doesn't change anything. So me thinking Essendon were no good doesn't mean they'll never win a game again.
Yeah, well, they beat your mob.
They're not my mob.
If you had to pick a mob for him, who would it be?
Okay, whoever's been higher on the ladder at the time.
No,
West Coast
there's actually a little argument going on Twitter. I'm tagged in it. But there's two punters arguing about which team. Are you tagged in that too?
They asked me to answer. It says ask me who you support.
What's the hosting fee for our respective best and fairest? That's what you got to measure.
Thank you for the reminder. I've got something at the end of Smash Your Week.
Here we go.
So Essendon, well done. Do they beat the Gold Coast Suns this year? They were deplorable, the Suns.
There's no way Essendon can lose to the Gold Coast Suns. They haven't won away from home in 17 rounds.
That's the team whose ass you should be up. Is bloody Gold Coast, not Essendon.
Let's go in. Let's use that segue. Get into the Gold Coast then. So that was piss week. Pack it up. That was real pack it up stuff.
That was poor.
I don't understand. Dimmer came in. What did he say? It was 80% of the list was there. Premiership list.
But we did agree at the time. We just said they need to add primetime Judd, Buddy Franklin,
that last 20% is going to be
the 5 superstars that have played the last 20 years.
It. There were so many people out there just making bad decisions and just not seizing moments.
Did you hear the quote of Dimmer saying something along the lines of, "I'll never put a ceiling on this side, but I'll tell you where the floor is, and it's making finals this year."
Yeah, that's right. I did see that quote pop up.
They're nowhere near it.
No.
They've lost 17 games on the road in a row.
Yeah.
17. That's staggering.
How ruthless do you reckon they need to be at the end of this season?
Well, you know my thoughts on the Gold Coast Suns. That's the one I've got right, is the Gold Coast Suns. 17 losses on the road is deplorable. But then also, you look at the midfield. Matty Rao, that was an exceptional game we watched on Friday night. He was clearly best on ground.
You got to be at the end of the game. Is the real getting too old for this shit sort of vibe? I got to do everything around here.
Well, you had was it 10 or 11 tackles or 10 or 11 clearances, both either way. And then Anderson, who I like, and Flanders, who I like, they had 1 tackle between them.
That's the stat. That's the stat I pulled out. So they had 50 less disposals than West Coast, but also lost the tackle count by 10. How can you have it that far fewer than the other team, but still not out tackle them?
No, that shocked me. I think too. Maybe we all rate their players all up one rung. Yeah, every single one of them up one rung higher. So maybe Noel Anderson's not an A grader; he's a B grader. Maybe Matty Rao, it's hard to say right now because he was best on ground, but he's just a B grader. Maybe they've just got a whole lot of King's a B grader. Maybe we think that these talented were kids and now no longer kids. Pound for pound of centre bouncers. I'm taking Elliot Yeo over all of them.
I'm not a fan of the on-paper teams anymore. Like where you look at them and you go, oh, they got this many guys and their first-round picks.
Look at it and,
it doesn't do anything.
They're not kids anymore, some of them. Some of them should be in their prime. I'd be surprised if Dimmer doesn't clean it out still.
Yeah, there's work to be done on that list. Big time.
I suppose I was going to say, where do you get them from? But they've probably got another.
Mate, they're all
Don't worry, coming through.
The talent's not the issue.
Yeah,
it's a chemistry and it's a work thing.
17 losses on the road.
It's a work rate thing.
That's remarkable. Let's go to Carlton.
Where are we going? We going back to Zave?
No, didn't you just do one?
No, I did Gold Coast.
Oh, did you?
Is
it me? Is it?
Yeah, jump in. We'll lose one again and we'll get in trouble.
I don't think I've done a second team then.
Didn't you just do?
No, I think you jumped in.
You jumped doing Essendon and you jumped. Well, okay, we'll go back to you and then we'll go to Zave. What do you got?
All right, Carlton. We'll go to Carlton. Lost 4 out of their last 5.
Yeah.
Lost 4 out of 5.
Do you know what that coincides with? When I said they're the best team in the competition.
Jeez, we've got some shocking takes. Total of 43 points in those 4 losses.
Yeah.
So they haven't been blown out. Close games they're losing by, which makes you a little bit concerned in terms of late game execution, which has always been our concern with Carlton, right? It's not the talent. It's an overwhelming group of talented players. But when it comes down to the tactics, the vibe and the tactics is off. The vibe it's not great. And in that, their 1 win out of the 5 was beating North by 19. And if you remember that game,
North got done late.
It was very shaky.
Oh, that's right.
One thing I do want to point out as a positive for the season in general, Elijah Hollands So 2020 draft, high pick, didn't play 2021, had the ACL stuff.
Yeah.
5 games in his first year at Gold Coast, 9 games in his second. I reckon there was no good ones in those 14. He's played 18 games this year, 17 disposals and kicked 15 goals, and he was traded for... Let me get the trade up.
He missed the first game with suspension?
Yeah, he had the slight little off-field stuff. A trade taking Elijah Hollands from Gold Coast to Carlton is done. The Blues have sent a future third-round selection and pick 26 to the Suns for Hollands, and pick 28 and a future fourth. It was basically for nothing. Essentially for nothing. That's a great pickup. He's played
a few of those going
He's
around.
looked pretty good, I reckon. He's
He has looked good. And another thing with Carlton, just really quickly, so off the back of the Port loss too, they kicked 1 goal after half time. They kicked 3 goals in the first half. So they've kicked 5 goals.
Wow.
In 4 goals.
Yeah.
In a full game. In a full game of footy if you join the two. Chera, I think they've got to put a line through Chera. I think you've got to put a line through him. It's a bit like Dion Prestia at Richmond. You've just got to say, sorry, mate, we can't trust your body this year. Off you go. It's just bad. I think he's done 3 hammies in game. I mean, that kills the team with planning and whatnot. And as a player who did soft tissue, you feel like you're letting the team down too. Yeah. So, Chera, I think you just got to wrap it up, like just this year, because you can't lose him in a big final.
Yeah, true. So it's you again, Zave.
Melbourne Footy Club. I think they are. Would we say if you've got the list of teams you want to watch on TV?
They're not high.
I've got them right down the bottom. They
What's
are
the opposite
so boring.
of a league pass team?
They should have lost by about 100 on the weekend. They're going into so I reckon they'll lose the next 3. So I didn't write them down, but they've got a tough run home. I reckon they lose the next 3 games.
They
of
got Port.
Yep, loss.
And then they've got Gold Coast at the Gold Coast.
At Gold Coast, and then finish with Collingwood.
Yeah.
So I reckon they're going to go 6 and zip, losing on the way out. Does any conversations happen around any changes at Melbourne after the back of this year?
Simon Goodwin?
Just anything?
He's got a year to go, doesn't he?
He must.
You know his brother lives over here.
Does he?
Yeah.
You're grinning about?
No, I'm just saying that's interesting, isn't it?
Oh, I know what you're grinning about.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Oh, hello.
I know what you're grinning about. Is he in the conversation with West Coast?
Well, I'd just put him in it. No, I do know his brother does live over here, so he comes over here quite a bit. Oh, well, I don't know. If you're Melbourne, I don't think so. He's only.
So then what do they do so they don't follow the path of West Coast, Richmond, and Melbourne's the next one?
Yeah, they are. And it's going to come quick because Max Gawn's 32, and a lot of time he's still their best player, like in a lot of ways. Stephen May's plus 30 as well.
The truck is still bleeding internally.
Yeah, I don't know. Oliver, are we ever going to see Oliver back?
What do they do?
I don't know.
You can't rinse and repeat.
No, you got to pay. What do you got to pay? If you want to offload Clary, you still probably have to pay half his salary every year.
Oh, for 6 years though.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
That's $1.5 for 6 years.
Is there a club that'd take a punt on Clary?
Yeah, if you're going to pay half his money.
Yeah. Still a lot of money if he doesn't play well.
Yeah,
he's on what, million something?
Yeah, he'd be on. Yeah, so you'd be looking at least $500,000 a season. That's a lot of money to do nothing with. But it's also a pretty good roll of the dice if you can get right.
Oh, well, I love Clary as much as any midfielder, but it is the opposite to a league pass team.
Yeah,
turn it off.
Somebody pulled me up.
They should have lost by 100,
and they tried to highlight some of the younger players.
I remember you read them out last week. We read them out.
That's right. Yeah,
not a lot there.
And I think someone said to me, I think they were trying to prove a point, but they proved the other point.
Proved the wrong point.
Proved the opposite
what about
point.
Bailey Laurie?
Yeah.
I do like Monty's Wakefield. I do like him.
Oh, that's the promise.
Back to me.
Yeah.
What did you just do?
No, he just did Melbourne.
Oh, you threw the order way off.
I know.
I skipped one of them. Had to take it a back step and then jump.
Okay, jeez.
We're back on track.
I threw myself under the bus here. Scott Pendlebury, right?
Yep.
Played game 400 on the weekend. Now,
Crazy.
Last week, I thought someone tweeted, he's never played in Tassie or Geelong. I thought, geez, that's interesting. Like 400 games. You think he would have had to go there once?
Oh yeah, you got really.
You think he would have gone to Geelong once?
I would have been shocked if it was Tassie. Just because why would Hawthorn want to play Collingwood in Tassie?
I don't know.
For financial reasons, it wouldn't make any sense.
I've done a little bit more digging and gone, I wonder where else he hasn't played. And it turns out he hasn't played anywhere. He hasn't played in Tassie, he hasn't played in Geelong, Alice Springs, Cairns, Canberra, Ballarat, Darwin, any of the non-main grounds. So he's played every game. It has been at either Adelaide Oval or Footy Park, Optus or Subi,
we need to get,
MCG Marvel.
We need to get Benry to do a take on that. I've been everywhere, man.
There was a funny message that went around our chat. It was something like, and I won't have the numbers exactly. I was like, Scott Pendlebury's played at 11 different grounds. The Giants last year alone played at 12. Yeah. In one season.
Well, even the Gold Coast one, I looked at, I was like, geez, he's played a lot on the Gold Coast, but then I remembered the Hub. So,
yeah.
Only one of those was non-Hub, so he almost didn't even play on the Goldie.
Oh, my God.
So my whole point wasn't about, he hasn't earned the 400. But
I did notice. What did you say at the end of the tweet? No shade or something?
No shade on
I
Pendles.
remember that. Yeah.
Didn't the Collingwood Army come for me?
I would have.
I could read off some of the. You wouldn't believe it. The amount of F-bombs that were dropped at me.
Mate.
Who's this idiot?
I would have left the no shade part out.
You clown.
Because that just drew people to it.
It ignites it.
But it did spark it. My whole point was, geez, Collingwood get a good run.
Yeah.
Even you saying like, well, why would they want to go to Tassie and play them? What the are we doing here? Aren't we? No, this is the same as Geelong. So if you look at the ladder now, there's going to be one final in Melbourne in the first week of finals, and that might be it till the grand final if things stay the way they are. And someone said to me, "Oh yeah, well that'll be at the MCG because it's Geelong hosting."
Geelong certainly should be at home with their new crew.
You would hope so.
Oh, because they need the big. What are we actually trying to suggest? That the entire AFL financial structure is dependent on the extra 30,000, 40,000 people playing at the MCG. Piss off. This is all that equalisation shit.
AFL gets the money. I was going to say, because Geelong's getting government grants left, right, and centre.
That's the finals, though. Like, Geelong should certainly be down there. But as a player, don't get me wrong, I'd rather play Collingwood at the MCG than go to Tassie and play Collingwood.
Yeah, but why do they just keep getting a pass because they're big? Like, West Coast are big too. Richmond are big. Like, did they never have to travel? Someone hit me back with the, what about Dusty? He'd been to all of those grounds. Literally played at all of them. By the way, sorry, Josh, you can't cut that up because I swore like 8 times.
No,
that's fine.
Mate, this is on the
reintroduce himself to some Collingwood supporters.
I get it. They're massive and they draw a big crowd.
Was that a strategy? You didn't want this cut up, so you started swearing a lot?
All I'm saying is that can't just be the justification for them never having to go anywhere.
But did you think tweeting it in his 400th week was timing?
I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it like that.
You thought about it enough to say no shade.
Geez, that's interesting. Well, I was trying to make it clear. And I don't reckon Collingwood fans can read, so they didn't see that.
Geez, you've had a tough week.
Honestly, under fire.
All right, let's go to one of the hot hands in the competition, the Western Bulldogs. Let's play a little game. Guess Marcus Bontempelli's averages this season. So I'll throw out the stat and I want you to guess his average.
Right. Okay,
so go to disposals.
28.
Yeah, I'll say 30.1.
Yeah, well, 26. So he's not getting the huge disposal numbers, but it's everything else. Clearances.
This might be Nick's proving the Melbourne kids' point here, I think.
7.2.
What was the question?
Clearances.
6.8.
Yeah, 6.5. Inside 50s.
3.5.
8.
Yeah, 6. 5.6. Goals.
One
per
a week.
Game?
Per game.
Yeah, 20.
Say 0.8.
No, we're 1.1. Huh? So he's banking a fair few. And then score involvements per game.
Oh, that's a hard one. I don't know, like
12.
Nah, it wouldn't be that much, would it? 9?
Yeah, 8.2, which is still massive. He's mostly at high score involvements in the
But I would say...
So what are you trying to illustrate here?
Just how good an across-the-board season he's had.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's done anything wrong. I think he's clearly the best player in the competition.
I'd say it's not his best season.
Could he win the Brownlow being the 4th best player this year?
I don't think he's the best player this year.
I don't think he'll win the Brownlow this year.
You don't reckon he's a chance?
No, I reckon he's had better years the last 3.
Yeah, but that doesn't always matter.
No, but and this year they've got the Treloar having 40. You've got...
But is Treloar a vote getter?
No, we need to stop thinking of the Brownlow as this is the best player and this is his best. Lachie Neale won it last year just by being really, really consistent.
Yeah, but I don't think he has been as good consistent as what
I think
we think he has.
If you go through the games down.
If you go through it, I don't think he's had his best season.
Well, who have you got as better than him this year?
In the footy?
Yeah.
Cripps, Sarong. Who else?
You reckon?
In terms of players, big games. Dacos, big games.
Heaney early.
I think as overall influence, I think it's hard to beat him.
I've watched a lot of Dogs, and he's clearly, I think, if I had a schoolyard pick a player, he's the first player I'm picking.
Yeah.
But it's probably been the 7th best player in the competition.
I think we always consistently underestimate with the Brownlow what it's actually about.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just about just being the guy on the day who gets either a 3 or a 2 or a 1. And the umpire's going, geez, who we give the 2 to? Well, Bont was pretty good.
Bont's
had these. He's very noticeable. He's a big man.
And I'm looking at this, like 22, 27, 20, 21,
would you
19. That's a 6-week patch.
Would you be
He's probably had 4 in there.
Hey?
If he walked away with the Brownlow, would you be stunned?
No, I wouldn't be. I'd love it. So he polled 33 votes when Wines won.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be stunned.
No, and I hope he wins a Brownlow, but it's not his best season.
But it's a career Brownlow.
Yeah. Give him one.
It's like, he deserves one at some point. It was like Pendlebury should have won one.
I'd love to see Bont win one.
He should have won one.
You reckon?
At some point.
Look,
When he
he's
started,
the
I was
best player in
like,
the
Don't
comp. Now
really
he's
back
just-
in
yeah.
with the Pies now, mate. Or how many grounds did you play at?
no, the stupidity is I actually love Scott Pendlebury. Like
sure,
that was
sure,
that's
sure.
the
I think
thing. I'm
everyone
like,
does, yeah.
How could you not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can he captain coach West Coast next year? If they put him
Where are we heading?
Whose
Uh,
go is it?
you.
You've really stuffed this.
Yeah, no,
Mate,
free.
it just goes around like this.
Yeah, we
now
did.
we're
We're
back on
supposed
track
to.
now. We're back
But
on
it
track.
didn't, so we just started going that way, which was fine, and then you went back
and
again.
You circled backwards.
Yeah, no.
Anyway.
Well, we were already going this way first.
Fremantle Football Club. Another shocking one for you, Rhino.
Oh,
I just looking at it, like,
the tent's under fire.
was there 10 seconds to go out of that centre bounce? That ball.
Someone want to stand defensive side of the stoppage?
The forward triangle, etc. I get it. You can still be defensive doing that. But someone needed to have enough nous to go, hey, 2 points is enough for us. 2 points still has them third.
So this is the thing, right?
Clearly third.
Someone pointed out today
They
it's
win their
statistically better for them to
Yeah.
draw because your chances of you winning there are low.
Correct.
But you could easily lose the game, but just lock it up.
Just hold
Yeah,
it.
so they were third if they won, they're third if they drew, they're sixth because they lost.
Yeah.
Just reckon it just had to be, and don't get me wrong, that hit out was too clear too.
Yeah.
Zach Merritt being Zach Merritt, who I think's had a better season than Bont. There's another one. Just too classy, and he wanted that ball back. And
Okay, I got a question for you.
yes.
The stoppage was set up, and it's hard to describe on, but there was obviously the two ruckmen in the middle. You had the two mids, one from each team on the sides of the wings.
So it
right?
was a forward triangle, so you've got
Yeah.
east, west, and north.
Yeah, but so Merritt and Young were
Yeah.
on the Dockers side of
Yeah.
things, right?
So Merritt was sweeping
Yeah.
technically.
So what I want to ask you
But
is,
didn't. It was a set
you're
play.
all walking up there.
Yeah.
You're as a midfield group, the ruckman, and like where you stand matters. How does it happen that Young doesn't just go to the other side and stare across at Zach Merritt and go, well, I want to be here, you're going to have to come to me. Is
Well-
it just because Merritt is the biggest dog in the midfield
Nah,
and so Young's worried?
That's how Fremantle would have wanted to set up.
But-
whatever it was. They,
Like the forward triangle.
well, forward triangle or man on man, whatever it was,
But
that's
what
what
if
they would have
Essendon
done.
didn't want to do that? And then,
Well, the
and then
Essendon
Merritt
play-
goes to the other side.
The best part of the Essendon play was they wanted a sweeper at the back. So the sweeper's the person literally starting behind
Everyone.
the ruckman.
Where Merritt was.
Just in case, where we used to call the skinny bloke, because if they won it, you had to run back quickly.
Yep.
Merritt leaves the sweeping role.
Yeah.
But Caldwell creates the
comes in.
space for Merritt by moving from that side. And if you freeze it at the point, Caldwell's in the sweeping role. Merritt's got the open side of the ground to run through.
Yeah.
The 6-6-6 starting inside 50s torched him because there's no pressure on Merritt coming out.
None.
I just thought the game sense part was probably the bit I'd be frustrated is you need the 2 points. Like someone needs to say, hey, let's put our white flag up, get the 2 and get out, and we're
And-
still sitting third.
And you knew that Essendon had to win it.
Well, they have to win it.
They had to win it.
And at the end of the year, if they don't make the final, still it doesn't matter. Like
That's a tough loss for
it's a
Fremantle.
tough loss. And
If finals in question for Fremantle?
Absolutely. No.
I think Hawthorn's loss was a very, very lucky thing.
Yeah.
They rolled over. If Hawthorn was still nipping at the heels, I think they beat Geelong. I think they beat
Yeah.
Geelong pretty easily with speed and endurance.
Yeah.
I think pressure's on when they go to the Giants.
Yeah.
Where Kelly and Cornelio will be back. And then it comes down to Port Adelaide at home.
Oof.
I think they make the 8. I think they shot themselves in the foot for the 4.
You're thinking more 7-8? They got to win 3, I think, to be 5-6.
There you go.
So
But how good's the season?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so good. It's
I've
so
gone
good.
from Hawthorn getting nailed to your team getting nailed in the space of 2 hours.
They're not my team. Okay, hold on a minute. Let's go.
That's not what you said at the grand final breakfast.
That's what I need to talk about.
Oh, here we go.
Please circle back.
Okay, so Tom Stewart at Geelong. Here's what I want to talk about. Just some insane numbers that he has produced.
It's been a good move.
It has been a really good move. The main one is the clearances. So let me find it.
Wow, I missed
so
this. Who are we talking
he
about?
has 33
Stewart.
clearances this season, and most of them have come in the last 7
Yeah.
weeks. He had, before, his season high for clearances was, can you guess?
2.
Yeah.
It's more than 2, mate. You get 2.
Season high would be
11.
8. Okay.
11 was his season high. He only had one other one where he hit 10. So he's gone for 33. And then you look at his uncontested possessions. He's way through the roof. His contested possessions way through the roof. Like already a career high, like by a mile.
Do you consider putting someone on him anyway?
Well, that was
Because
the
clearly
thing, right?
he couldn't get away from whoever's playing
Yeah,
on him.
so Geelong was stuffed because everyone was just shutting down Tom Stewart at halfback. So then Chris Scott's gone, we'll stuff you. I'll put him in the middle. And
And
now
then he
he's
sort of
thriving
bounces
again.
back.
And guess what? Geelong's thriving again.
But also he manipulates off being in the middle to somehow
Yes.
drop back at
Yeah.
times and he switches up with
As
Duncan or
people say,
whatever.
it's not the most revolutionary thing in
No,
the
it's
world.
not.
He comes to stoppage and then he drops
Yeah.
back. But they all seem to get caught
Yeah,
out
I
by
did
it.
say to I think I said on the podcast one night I was watching Tom Stewart and it was tag night. And I text Joel saying, gee whiz, he walks more than Jane Saville. because I was like, and Joel was like, confidence. That's all he wrote back. Like you could just tell he just shattered of confidence. So used to being a gun.
Yep.
And now he's scrapping with a tagger. It's for 0-0 draws. Like he just lost all confidence. And I was surprised it took Scott so long to do something. But geez, I'm glad he did something because it's turned Geelong around.
It has.
Geelong were just
Saved your bet.
Yeah, where is that cup?
Well, it's not here yet. They haven't made the 8 yet.
I'm going to have to buy another box this
Come
week.
mathematically
I had a few
not
left
possible.
over yesterday, but they didn't last long.
Not possible yet.
Geelong, I wonder if Hawk, and this is a serious question, I wonder if he is going to get back. I haven't spoken to him. But I still think there's a spot for Hawk when he's good to go.
He's gone early on the book.
Hey?
Hawk. He's gone early on the book.
Are you in the book?
I think so.
So he's released an autobiography.
You're not in the book?
I haven't read it. I should read it.
There's not a chapter at the start. My roommate.
How he got me to the AFL.
Yeah. There must be your name must be in there.
Check the
There's
glossary.
2 words.
Nah.
It's
index.
massive. It's like an encyclopedia.
Well,
you
he
must
wouldn't
be
have
in
read
there
it all.
once.
I did. Yeah.
If you're not in there
need to
at
get
all, I'd be asking questions.
I do need to get a copy and read it, actually.
Just at
With
some
with
point.
a sign.
The
It's
audio.
all
I was
because
at
of you.
training with Xavier Ellis. Like something. Just anything.
Oh, yeah.
You
Might
know?
have been all that knackers and shit.
Where are we?
I don't know.
You
I
just
just
do
did
that one?
I just did one.
All right, I'll jump in with GWS. Hello.
Honestly.
Well, we lost it early and we just haven't got
You
it.
lost it.
I didn't lose it. Oh, no, actually, I did. Sorry, I jumped the queue.
This is the Nick
I did a bit of
Rynne
queue jumping.
moment where people just
Yeah.
expect it. So keep going.
I did a queue jumping and then I never got hold. Brent Daniels, the Brent Daniels game, right?
Yes, very
So
good.
it was coming when he came back into the side last year was when they started to pop on that run into finals.
Yeah.
And now it's sort of chucking him in the midfield has made him pop again. And
I think we've
pick
been.
an unlikely
I
one.
think we've been a Brett Daniels
We're
fan
big Brett
early days.
Daniels.
I got
Yeah.
a message yesterday from a mate saying Daniels is flying, and I thought,
Yeah.
what have I done now?
Oh, yeah.
I had to check the socials and
Yeah. No, he's incredible. He plays that Dylan Moore role brilliantly. Like
Yeah,
they're both that so well.
12 disposals and a goal in the last term and 9 score involvements for that term.
Is he
I think,
still?
as well.
Is he the one who's out of contract and unsigned? Is he the one,
Is
or is it next year?
I haven't even heard him talk about a
I
contract.
don't know.
discussion.
Let me. You have a look while we can continue to talk.
Um,
Swahili. What about Jesse Hogan
but yeah,
leading
Coleman
the
medal
Coleman
leader.
medal?
Another one traded for a pack of chips.
I think next year.
End of next year.
End of next
Yeah,
year.
okay. I reckon he'd be worth a look for a lot of
Maybe worth
teams.
it. He would be. Wouldn't be surprised with the new CBA.
Yep.
What might have been 700 will probably nearly be 900 or
Very
something.
nice.
Yeah,
That's the areas he'll be in.
yeah. Well, he's a very good player. Is Jesse Hogan? And I think the answer is yes. Playing the best football he's ever played.
Oh, by
Yeah.
miles.
Oh, yeah,
By
yeah.
miles.
His
Early
first
Melbourne
year
was
was-
very
yeah.
good. Like
But I think early in Melbourne you get the.
it was hope and possibility.
But also, like, Jaden Stevenson kicked 40, and you're like, this kid's going to just be unbelievable.
And then-
And this is his first year, like, shit, he's going to kick 70 before you know it.
Yeah.
I think you just appreciate a kid doing really well.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And now Hogan is definitely playing his best footy.
Yeah.
His hands are so clean. He's a great set shot for goal.
What about he had the stutter going big time again?
Yeah.
And you expect it to go through. I do like when he gets down the line for kicks coming out of defence, and he's in there and he fights like tooth and nail for it. But then he'll turn to the kicker and go, "Buddy, this side for me." Right? Like that's how confident he is. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Just give me a slight
Tell him where
advantage,
to
and I
go.
reckon I'll get it."
Yeah, he wants
Like,
it. He wants it in a certain spot.
Yeah,
He's a
Yeah, you're right.
monster.
Righto, let's go to Adelaide. They got the Dogs coming up. Win-loss.
Lose.
Port Adelaide coming up. We did before.
Yeah, we don't know.
I think loss. And then finish on Sydney. I think loss.
Well.
So they finished the season with 7 wins, Adelaide, off the back of 11 wins last year. So they're going to go. They lost by 5 points in a good game. Don't get me wrong. How do you sum that up for Adelaide? I know they're not meant to be in their prime.
No, it's a nothing year.
But what have you got that you're really wrapping your
It's not even a nothing.
fangs around?
No, it's not a nothing year.
Well, I think it's a year that exposes-
it's a bad
shocking
year.
But it also exposes everywhere they need to fix. Like they probably previously thought, the midfield's going all right and everything, but it's clearly not.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so for example, is Saligo good enough to be a midfielder?
Yeah, he's going to
Or
have to
is
be
he
a
a
third or
fourth
fourth.
midfielder?
Yeah.
Like, I think they might have had, and I like Saligo, but
Same.
Dawson we like, but he's fallen off the perch a little bit this year. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some
What
sort of
draft pick is Harvey going to be available?
injury.
As a pick? Maybe just get Harvey in.
I
It'll
don't
be a
have-
top 5 pick.
Oh, hello.
And what about Dan Curtin too? Sub again,
Yeah,
played
3
7
times.
minutes
This
of footy.
is what annoys me. Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
You've been playing in midfield in the Sandful.
But you've won 7 games.
So put him in there.
That's what I mean.
just
You're
put him
not,
in.
you're not on 15 and
What are you
fighting
trying
for
to do?
first.
Like,
And look,
no, it's,
so then what's the 3 games he's played and he's either been the sub or sub?
no, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you doing to him?
Yeah.
He was sub last week, and I know he got sub. I think he's played 4 games, and he got sub. Has he been subbed off twice?
I think he was
Yeah.
the sub twice and subbed off twice.
There you go.
Stop mucking around. You need to put time in.
But there has
And
to
he
be
subbed with
something.
like 4 minutes to go or something.
He has,
stupid on the
yeah,
weekend.
he played 7 minutes total. So
Yeah.
there must be something.
People keep asking me if he's coming home at the end of this year. He's not.
No, he can't.
No, I've asked the question multiple times. He's not. He's committed to trying to make it work at Adelaide. He wants to play there, and he wants.
But is he a midfielder?
I think they think he can be long term.
He can be.
The whole point
Like,
was,
can be to what level?
I don't know.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, Jimby, for example, I've seen a massive difference in Jimby being a half-back.
Yeah.
Not convinced at all he's a midfielder.
Yeah.
He was a good midfielder at Colts level last year. He was like probably the best midfielder in the Colts.
Yeah, but a lot of that was size related.
A lot of it was
so
size.
massive.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So massive.
But the fact that you can still move at that size is
Just
But
put it. I
can he
don't care
move?
where you're playing.
he can move. He's getting 30 playing mids in the Sandford.
Yeah, but 30 in that.
Yeah,
level.
But who cares?
But we
where
haven't
just
seen it.
play him
Yeah.
We
somewhere
got to see it.
and give him a full game.
No, agreed, mate. I'm with you.
They got
Don't
3
yell at me,
games
mate.
left. He should be playing all
Yeah,
year.
I'm
Why do
bloody
you
with
hate
you.
Dan Curtin?
Shit. I certainly wouldn't have swapped the future first for him. But anyway, I was right there.
We'll see. So St Kilda, Filippo, another good game.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
So-
a good player, man.
Played every game last year. Do you remember that?
I
Every
wouldn't
game.
have known he played every
That's
game.
nuts,
but,
isn't it?
It was like a third tour most of the time.
So
right?
his 3 highest career disposal games have
poo.
been his last 3 games.
Mate, the
So
poo.
Poe, he's finally figuring it out.
Yeah, you can't call someone the Poe.
He's also Edgar Allan. He's also kicked a goal in his last 3 games as well. So he's definitely found a little space.
It's a very niche literature reference you just dropped here. Edgar Allan Poe.
Josh.
Oh, this can be
the other
lost
one I
on a
want to
few.
mention too is Josh Battle, who I think we've had. Are we on the bat? I
We
know I've
enjoyed
liked
Battle.
Josh Battle
Yeah,
for a
he's
really
fine.
long time.
But he's one of those ones. I know he's out of contract. Is he?
Hawthorn, mate. So Hawthorn,
Yeah.
it's going to happen.
I'm not certain that I'm in the money area that they are on Josh Battle.
I reckon it's the.
know
I
they have
reckon
unlimited
when
money,
Josh
blah, blah,
Battle
blah.
gets to Hawthorn
It'll
on
be
a
unreal.
semi-Broadway club, you watch the people
No,
come.
I love
How
it,
good's
like him.
Josh Battle?
Well, you think he's going to get the Brian Lake effect?
If Josh Battle has
Brian
as
Lake
good,
was a good footballer.
He was a good footballer.
I reckon if Josh Battle just has a regular Josh Battle season next year, he'll be in the All-Australian conversation. Because
he's not as good as Wilkie.
No, because of the excitement and all of the, Hawthorn, geez, they've got one
Yeah.
here. You watch it happen. Battle will be
Mate,
good
the Hawks
next
going to be
year.
that good. He might not even get a game.
He's fighting
You
for
watch,
positions.
you watch the Josh Battle hype reach new levels.
So how's that take? I know Hawthorn have enough, I think, for $2 million players to come in. I think that's how much money they've got.
Yes, Tom Barris and Josh Battle. There you go.
Do you think? Well, what would they? They wouldn't want that.
Well, it sounds like
Makes
Smith's
zero
Geelong.
sense.
Watching yesterday, they win that game. If Tom Barris is playing, Jesse Hogan doesn't kill them like he did. He just doesn't.
Yeah.
Like
quite
playing Josh
possibly.
Weddle was playing on him. Like Weddle's not a fullback.
Jeez, I like
Weddle
Weddle.
is
Same,
good.
but he's not a
He
fullback.
can move.
You know, like
But you can't get both of them in, right? Pick. It's probably pick Barras or Battle.
What do you reckon the highest disposals for Brian Lake is in a game of football? Just
I was
quickly
like
go.
30.
he had
35.
like a big, massive dream team.
I think he had 35
portfolio.
in that grand final, didn't he?
Yeah.
Something similar. 35 marks.
In his
Seemed
155th
like
game, and this is 156th game against North Melbourne, round 9 and a victory, Brian Lake had 35 kicks, 22 marks, 6 handballs, 41 disposals, and 11 rebounds.
200 AFL
Jesus.
fantasy
That is
points.
crazy. Yeah, Brian Lake was a good player.
Brian Lake was a good player.
Apparently, he used to play fantasy too.
Did he?
I have it on good authority that he used to like yell out his score like in
them
games where it was like over
Yeah,
and they were
oh.
chipping it around. Like,
Yeah,
good
like-
authority.
Well, we'll go to Hawthorn. So I got the sense, in the way Sam Mitchell was after the game, that is one of those sort of turning point games where they felt in control and they kind of just let it go. And the way he was pretty, he was angry, but not in like a yelling and screaming way, in like a really cutting sort of like. I imagine that was quite a cutting.
I haven't
meeting
heard it.
afterwards. Well, he's just sort of said, and he put it on the players and the entire footy department and himself, and it was all about like it was nothing tactical.
Well, that's killed
It
him.
was just wanting it.
They should have skipped away with that.
Yeah.
And they should have won. And as I said last week, when they went 0-5 at the start of the season, we all thought they were going a hopeless team.
Yep.
4 of those losses were against non-top 8 sides.
Yeah.
You win 2 out of them, they were sitting second on the ladder. Instead, they're going to miss the 8, I
Yeah.
think, and being probably the informed team in the competition for 70% of the season.
Yeah, it's a weird season for them.
Crazy.
Really weird season.
But I just
But
feel like when they win 3 flags in the next 5 years,
Yeah.
that'll be one of the games they point back to.
in the grand scheme of things, it would have been great for them to play finals. They still might. But I think everything that's happened this year is good for them either way.
I think they need to play. I think I'd love them to play finals, but a little bit like Freo, who lost on the weekend out of that centre bounce.
You need to learn.
That won't happen again.
No, it's a teaching
There'll be
moment.
2 or 3 things out of the Hawthorn thing that they won't do it again. We had one in 07. Port Adelaide, similar thing, needed a goal to win. We shit the bed defence. They had a set up. They took a mark in the goal square. We never did the same thing ever again. We knew exactly what to do in the time. And again,
Yeah.
Freo will know in a centre bounce like that. Hawthorn will know in certain
this
things
is why
as well.
the Nat 5 thing would have been interesting yesterday because when you're his age, you've seen all that.
Yeah, you've seen
So does he stop and go, hold on a minute, no.
Get the points.
Let's do this, right?
Would have Fife been in it?
Zach Merritt might have done.
Yeah.
I don't know, he might not have, but
He
he might have at
didn't
least
he?
been in the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, who knows?
They're the two sides, the Hawthorn and Fremantle, similar age
Well, they're all
profiles.
kids.
It'll be interesting to watch them over the next 5-6 years just go head to head.
Yeah.
It's
How
exciting
did
times.
Erasmus go? I didn't watch a great deal.
He was okay.
He had some moments.
They
got
ripped him
subbed
off.
out.
Got subbed
Yeah.
out, yeah. Which
I think they paid the price.
maybe
for
a
that too.
little early.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he had a couple of moments where he showed some poise.
There a couple of moments where that same sort of
True.
indecision in his head, you could see it happening on the field.
Yeah. All right, Richmond Footy Club, they got rolled by North. Just going to fix it up really quickly. It's plain and simple what they're going to do at the draft. Rioli, we trade, we get a first-round draft pick. Baker, you get a first-round draft pick. You've got pick one already for just being pick one worthy.
Yep.
And then you're trading Bolton for 2 picks. That's it, done. You've got 5 first-round draft picks. Blow Richmond
Start
up.
again.
See you later. 5 picks in the top 20. Supporters are smiling.
Is that the bullet?
That's done. Bullet them.
Okay.
You left out the draft Harvey with number one.
Got no arguments on any of
The
it.
Richmond supporters would be smiling if they had 5 firsters.
Yeah,
Just
they-
by
they-
manoeuvring certain
This is
things.
their one window.
One chance.
gotta do
Because
it.
the opposite,
We have blown them up, though.
well, the opposite is if they keep everyone.
Oh, yeah. And
If
then
they keep Rioli, if they keep Baker, if
Ooh.
they suddenly keep all these dudes and don't get anything now.
they need the next
Yeah.
Dusty and Cochin.
And
Add 5
those
years.
guys start going worse as well.
Yep. North Melbourne. I brought this up last week, but he had another fantastic game. Tristan Sherry. Are we sure he's not the All-Australian?
might be.
he's probably getting enough momentum that he probably is
Yeah,
going to be.
I think he might be.
I think he might be.
I think because
Someone threw out
Max
Oscar
is-
McDonald from Brisbane as well. That's not
McInerney.
naming. That's not his
Oscar
name.
McInerney.
Speaking of Bo McDonald.
That's all right. We just plough on.
Oscar McDonald plays for Fremantle. He's
He's
injured
thinking
at the
Bo
moment.
McDonald.
Oh, the backsman.
Yeah.
No, I get
I
it.
thought I was thinking Bo
You've got the
McDonald.
right club. Bo McDonald is 20 years too late.
Yeah,
So-
just slightly.
but that's a
slightly
Nick
off.
moment. We move on.
Yeah, Oscar McInerney. They're all Australian, mate. It's Schmakey.
Yeah, no.
Schmakey.
But
Squad.
yeah,
Well, I think he's gone past Gorn,
Yep.
and he's
Grady.
got Marshall covered.
well, Marshall was getting pumped by 100 yesterday
Yeah.
or 90. whatever it
Yeah,
is.
I
know
think Grundy's faded big
Yeah,
time.
Grundy's faded.
Yeah, Granny's
It's not Tim English.
Nah.
Just give it to
I
him.
think it's Tristan Sherry.
Mm.
What a story. He's
I
still
think it
only
is.
like 25 or something, isn't he, Sherry? He's not as old as you think.
Yeah, I think 24.
No, he's 25. Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
he's very good.
He is.
Can I
When's
just
the last
rattle off some
helmet?
names?
Caleb Daniel would have been the last helmet in the Australian team.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a check here of young talent. Are we giving these guys a tick in
At
terms
North?
of 200 game players?
All right.
All right, it doesn't have to be a start. It's 200 game player. Charlie Comben,
Yes, tick.
Yeah.
yes. LDU, obviously.
Yeah.
Uh,
Is he young anymore? He's 24.
Tom Power.
No.
Mm,
No, sorry, Tom Powell. Yes, sorry.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say Will Someone.
Oh,
Will
you're
Phillips.
thinking Will Phillips.
I thought you were going to say Will.
probably
Yeah.
not
Okay,
Will
Will Phillips?
Phillips.
No. Harry Sheasel, yes.
Yes.
Wardlaw, yes.
Yes.
Archer?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, he's
100%.
shown that.
We were saying at the pub the other day on Saturday, that is the perfect father-son.
They
Not a
look
lot
the
of
same.
pressure. You go into a back pocket.
Yeah.
You don't need to be the most skilled person ever.
Yeah.
Be tough and the club will love you and you'll
Yeah.
get picked every week. Like, there's no expectations.
Oh,
I
I do
love
like
it.
that. McKercher, yes.
Yes.
Larky, obviously, he's not even that young anymore, but we'll put
Yes.
him in there. Dersma, like that
Yes.
hanger was nice.
Absolutely.
Wow,
yes.
So you're in
Yes.
now, just from that one moment.
No, he's playing at one of
He's
the
good.
hardest spots on the ground.
Okay.
I don't know what he is long term. Mid or forward? Forward, mid. Dusty.
Bit of everything. Yeah.
Goda. I like Goda.
Josh
No.
Goda.
I like Goda.
I don't think
No.
he's going to get there. I do like
Biggest
what he
shock
does.
there is that he knew his first name.
Yeah.
That's
Actually,
unbelievable.
he's one of the random ones that
I'll
I
throw
really
Will
liked.
Dawson, Eddie Ford, Curtis Taylor. I don't know. There's a little bit in the cupboard.
There's
Yeah,
heap in the
you
cupboard.
You
There's
tail
a
off a
fair
little
bit
bit
there. And they're going to get more picks.
Heap in the cupboard.
Yeah.
Love it.
There you
And they're
go.
looking good.
Can't believe we got through North Melbourne.
West Coast. I think the Eagles would really appreciate it if people stopped asking people if they wanted to coach the West Coast Eagles.
Oh. But
Stop asking.
But I did say, it'd have to be the least appealing job for someone
Yeah.
who wants to be a long-term
But everyone
coach.
doesn't have to rule themselves
Nah.
out so early.
Don't rule out the other part of this, that is, if you become the assistant coach who goes for 4 jobs and doesn't get them, you get
Yeah.
a stain on your
Yeah.
name. Your
Was
card
he,
becomes
Peter
stamped.
Sumich?
Summer, yeah, and even like a
Jamie
Uze
Graham's
had that for
starting
a
to get to
while.
the,
Well,
to the
if you're
level.
Jamie Graham and you don't get this one, and I think he was the St Kilda job, he was in the
he
mix
was the
for us
next-
He's
well.
runner up at Collingwood.
Collingwood.
Second
yeah.
there.
So, like, if you're him and you're like, well, you know what, I don't want to not get another one, and you would have thought this would be the obvious one for him
Yeah.
because doesn't even have to move the family if he gets the gig.
Yeah.
You know, up the road, he's been at West Coast before. He has relationships with some of the people
They
there.
played 24 games in 06.
Yes, yeah.
He got dropped for the grand final.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And he's coached him in a game before.
Yeah.
He's coached him in a game before.
It's
so
so fit. Just was, yeah.
I would say it's more that Graham's assessed the situation and gone, look, I'm probably not going to get it.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't really want to go through the process. We've got a lot going on here. I think he really enjoys the job there.
It's just so
no
many
pressure.
of them. The fact that so many of them have gone on the record earlier to rule me out.
Buckley's different. Buckley's got a young family over
everybody's
there.
got different scenarios, but when everybody says it at the same time, it's not a great look.
Yeah, I know. But that's
and
just the way
it's not. Those guys aren't necessarily the guys that you thought would be a good fit for where they are.
There might
it's
be a McRae out there. There might be a Clarkson out there. I wrote this week saying, you rule yourself out or whatever.
What do you think about Schofield?
So I wrote that the way he coached the Subiaco on 3 flags for the Lions back then. They were set up. They were fundamentally always correct. They were tough and they worked hard. I reckon that's what the Eagles have done in a little sugar hit at the back end of the season. They always get a bit of a spike, but they did a bit more fossicking around. We all remember the Teague train.
Yep.
That fizzled out after 2 seasons.
Yep.
Reece Shaw won 4 of his first 5 at North. That fizzled out after 29 games. And then Brett Ratton took over from Alan Richardson. All these were caretakers that got it.
He took over at Carlton as well.
And but the caretaker at St Kilda, and he was done in 2.5 seasons, I think it was.
Yeah.
So, the caretaker into the main seat, you get that sugar hit, and you get the train, you get Shorey, that sort of stuff, all the momentum. But if they're not falling out of the tree, I think there's worse than Schofield to get the job. I think he's done a great job.
Would he be the first senior coach with the sleeve?
Yeah.
I think he would be.
I reckon a month ago he was not in it.
I agree.
And I reckon now he's in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to get it.
Also, but
he's in it.
I would have liked to see a couple of external names on that coaching selection panel.
Everybody
works for the club.
You've got, I did add that. You got director in Jan Cooper.
2 directors.
Gavin Bell, GM.
Rowan Jones.
And then Harry Taylor.
Harry Taylor, leadership and Pikey. I would have loved just one external.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you don't know. And often you get swarmed by everything internally.
And that's been the criticism of the club, is they're too internal with a lot of
I thought that too.
But I had a chat with a few people and they were like, why do we need to add someone external? And they didn't see the point at all. And I thought it was...
Counter-argument is, why do we need to do that? I'm not sure that's a good counter-argument.
No, not after the last few years.
No.
But it positions yourself well in the argument. So what are you going to...
Yeah, true.
Why?
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Oh,
that's us. We've got to get back to the breakfast.
Sorry, just really, really quickly, and I should have added this to the top.
What have I done?
But I had a mate who you spoke last week, big heading yourself about the Fremantle breakfast pre-grand final.
I wasn't big heading myself.
You're like, I'm hosting it. I'm doing the hosting.
I just said I'm hosting it. I didn't.
Now, one of our listeners who listens to the podcast, how many years have you done it for?
I reckon I've done maybe 2. I've definitely 1, maybe 2.
Yeah, so a guy who I'm friends with, Nick, you might have gone to school with him, Pete Corelli.
Oh, yeah.
Pete.
So Pete used to host the gig.
Oh, really?
And Pete got shafted.
Oh, no.
Absolutely shafted.
Oh, no, I love Pete.
And it has worked out that next week, ask Ryan Daniels, when he casually mentions the Fremantle Grand Final breakfast dinner, why did he have to shaft me by asking for the gig?
I didn't ask.
And I said, oh, what a dog, mate. And he goes,
you didn't ask for the medal.
Now, I don't know whether you can add this, whether I can read this or not. But I wrote back you a word that I won't repeat.
Oh.
And he goes, I don't know him well enough, but if you want to get stuck into him for me, you can please say that shit Gazman jacket, Timu sneaking, wearing slick-haired mother stole my job.
Is that Pete?
Pete Corelli.
I didn't know he had that in him. I think he's such a nice man.
I read that out verbatim.
Pete, I'm so sorry. I didn't hunt the gig.
Sure.
He reckons you might have given a couple of phone calls.
I reckon what's probably happened here is, I don't know if they were flying Pete over to do it. I'm already there.
No,
he was flying himself over?
He driving.
Pete was over there.
Okay.
He was driving over.
Do I need to just quote that last bit again for you?
Yeah. Go on.
That shit Gazman jacket, Timu sneaker wearing slick-haired mother. He's on my shit list.
Pete, I'm so sorry.
All right.
But Pete's the nicest
I
person
didn't know that
in the
he had
world.
that in him.
He's the nicest
Went to
man in
school
the
in
world.
Queen's Park. It's sitting there at a lower level.
Every time I
true.
speak to him on the phone, he always he always says, "Oh, love to the family and kids, Dave. Love to every time." I'm like,
He's a
"You're
lovely
so
guy.
nice."
Love
Yeah.
to the family and kids.
Apparently
When you
he's-
see that, right?
Yeah, but I hate that guy.
All right, this has been the Hardball Gets AFL show. Tune in again tomorrow for the mailbag. We'll catch you then.